can actually do. It's a pretty handy jammer.
I'm slowly meeting new people. It's been a while.
Takes a bit.
Nice when the rest can sit down.
Yep.
Tino just went and bought some new wheels from Derby Depot.
Oh, okay,
So I think her wheels weren't doing too well on the floor.
Hey, it's never a good thing.
Yeah.
I should get some cash off there too. Tino needs to get some money off her for her hoodie. My league will kill me.
You just have to pay for it.
Hey?
You just have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tino will give you the dollars.
There should be 7 minutes to Derby, not 3 minutes to Derby. We're starting at somebody's not got their
All about playing that. All about playing that.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully I don't screw this up. Oh, just going to get this. No matter what time it
I'm different this one.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, do I need to yell stuff at you?
Not different.
Okay.
Last Friday was a goal.
Convicts played Dunedin a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
End of August.
Yep.
And like a whole bunch of their all-stars.
Yeah, so I can tell you what to do.
Yeah.
I know a lot of their names and faces.
Yep.
Right, okay, good.
Which is kind of funny because it's supposed to be like the big
Okay.
Yeah.
So they stacked them up.
But, yeah, a little bit. Like, I think
That happens.
it's mostly their gemmers.
Yeah. That happens.
But it was a really close game though.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've done this and not at a scrimmage.
Really?
It's like, yeah. So if I screw it up, I'm really sorry about it. Okay. Good.
Okay. So full rows are let us stand I know this guy in the programs.
Yeah.
That's alright.
Yeah, I was down here 2 weeks ago as well. Yeah.
Is she even out? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to Game 4 this afternoon between Dunedin Derby and Whakatane. I got it right! Not too far off from a start, just a little over a minute to go before we get this one up and running. Just waiting for a few more officials to make their way in, one or two more refs, and we'll get this one underway. And joining me on the MC table this afternoon is the lovely Mama. We welcome you.
Thank you. It's probably really helpful. If you say it like an F, it's Whakatane. Whakatane. Yeah. Whakatane. Doesn't matter.
I see what she's done there. She's opened the doors to get some fresh air in.
Yep.
Always very handy to make sure everyone's feeling comfy. That said, the doors got closed.
What do you want? We've got hoodies.
Yeah, we'll be right.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Right, what's the time start? Just start announcing.
We're just waiting for the head ref. That's because we need him, or her, as the case may be. So hopefully, folks, it's not too far off from the start. There he is. Oh, we can derby now because the head ref's here. That's why he gets himself sorted out. I think we might introduce the two teams. On the Wakatane side of things, we have Helvetica, Dialdo, Ala Diablo, Haki Peo Peo, Parocca, McPherce, Patu Von Damage, Evelette, Duncan Disorderly, what a name, that's a cracker, Diamond, Monster Bash, and my favourite, Misty Rains, only because I know Misty from a few years back. So it looks like we've got McPherce on the jammer start line. Up alongside her will be
Axel Rose.
Axel Rose, yep. There's a hush. Jam time, it drops a hand, we're underway. Those jammers find themselves at the back of the pack working pretty hard. But out front and getting lead jammer is McPherce. Going to try and do absolutely everything she can to try and get some points before her opposing jammer does, but unfortunately for Axel Rose, she's been done on a, looks like a back block raid. Track cut. So power jam start for McPherce. Bit of pushing and shoving, yeah. A bit of beautiful assist, but
Out
just
to the
as,
bin.
yep. Beautifully worked on the inside line there. She saw the gap and took it. As we see Axel Rose being released from the penalty box, she now makes her way on track, but she's met solidly though by the Wakatane defence, but gets through, works the outside line just beautifully.
Right.
Unfortunately for her, not lead jammer.
Hold it off.
Oi. It's a cracking start by McPherce, picking up 20 points on that jam. And that's how we see the score. Wakatane sitting on 20. With the Dunedin girls yet to score, but I'm sure that will change fairly quickly. So it's a little yellow jacket. And the GMAC starter, jammer start line, pushing hard. She's taking on Duncan Disorderly.
Dunedin's out.
And it is Lee Jammer going the way of Dunedin and little yellow jacket. As the pack now picks up pacing and heading into turn one.
No points for Wakatane. B101. Imperial Speech.
Got to be careful on how you pronounce that one. It's Dial Do for Wakatane, pushing through, and she's taking on Furious Fletch. Furious Fletch has been met very solidly into turn one there by the Wakatane defence, but pushing through and working her way well to the front. And she makes her way down the back straight away now into turn three, still working hard out front is Fletch. But she has not picked up lead jammer.
33.
Lead jammer did go to the Wakatane girl there, Dialdo. My favourite saying, donuts. That's exactly what both teams got on that particular jam. Those points scored.
0-0.
0-0. So McChicken up against McPherce, the two Macs on the GMAC jammer start line. Whistle blows, jam is on. Those jammers just drawn to the inside line there and knocked out, subsequently had to recycle and met solidly at the back of the pack. McPherce finding it very hard to get through the Dunedin defence, working very, very well laterally. As McChicken got hit out to the outside line, reforms. Skates on through the outside line, gets on through, picks up Lee Jammer. Nice little get there by McChicken, picking up 4 points. It moves Dunedin along to 6. And Wakatane still on 20. As we see Axel Rose now on the GMAC jammer start line up against Misty Rains. And beautifully worked to the outside line there by Axel Rose. She picks up lead jammer. Meanwhile, back on turn one, Almost back to the jammer line goes Misty Rains. She's been reset, working hard at the front of the pack. Gets through, not lead jammer though for Misty, but I was going to say she'll skate on through and hopefully pick up some points, but the jam was called before she had the chance to do that. And another 4 points going the way of the ladies in white. Slowly bridging the gap. It's only 10 points of difference now. So it's McPherce up against Little Yellow Jacket. And just like that, working the inside line on the toe stops is McPherce. She gets through, picks up lead jammer for Wakatane. Pretty quick jam, that one. 2 points going the way of Wakatane. Stretches them out now to 22. As we see Furious Fletch on the GMAC Jarma start line. She's going to take on Duncan Disorderly. And it's Fletch for Dunedin Derby out front. She picks up lead jammer. Initial pass done, now on a scoring pass is Fletch. Nice hit to the inside, but recycled back. And neither team picking up any points on that particular jam. So it's McChicken taking on Dialdo. Some fancy footwork and taking to the inside line is McChicken. She picks up lead jammer. Meanwhile, stuck back on turn one. Dialdo's having a bit of a hard time trying to get through, but she does eventually get through. She's not your lead jammer. A quick 4 points picked up there by McChicken and called it off, as you would expect. So it's Axel Rose taking on McPherce. Both jammers just caught up in the pack there, but busting on through and getting out for lead jammer is Axel Rose for Dunedin Derby. Bit of a hop, skip and a jump, gets through, picks up some points. Nice move.
No points.
Unfortunately, yeah, for McPherce, no points on that particular jam. But for the girls in white, they pick up a handy 4 points. As we see, Little Yellow Jacket up against Misty Rains on the GMAC sponsored jammer start line. Hand down, whistle blown, jam underway. Both jammers going hard at it. Both defences working just as hard as we take all the action into turn one. Nice bit of defensive work there on the white jammer, knocks her outside. But meanwhile up front, it is Misty Rains picking up lead jammer for Wakatane.
White block to the bin.
nice jam there by Misty Rains. A little bit of a hit, a little bit of a spin and pivot, picks up some points, calls it off.
5-4 jam.
Yep. It's good to see the teams aren't too scared to take it up to the Thundies pivot line. That said, now they move back. Tactical, of course. As we see Duncan Disorderly taking on Furious Fletch.
Right.
And it's Duncan Disorderly breaking on through, picking up lead jammer. Nice bit of defensive work there by Dunedin. Knocking the jammer to the outside line, but she'd had enough and called it off. And picking up 3 points in the process. As we see the two Max, McChicken and McPherce. On the GMAX sponsored jammer start line. Whistle blown, hand drops, jams underway. Both jammers working really hard, but it's a fancy footwork from McPherce. Sees her busting on through, picking up lead jammer. McPherce doesn't mind getting up on her toe stops and putting on a bit of a dance there, so some really neat, fancy footwork. Unfortunately, though, for Patrick Von Damage, she's going to start the next jam in the Garage Project penalty box. As we see Dialdo on the jammer start line. Wrestling with Axel Rose. Bit of jammer on jammer action to get things underway in this particular jam, ladies and gentlemen, but it's Axel Rose pushing hard out front. Nice defensive work by the Wakatane girls there, but unfortunately she does get through. Picks up lead jammer for Dunedin. Meanwhile, Dialdo is just having a bit of a hard time getting caught out there in between turns 1 and 2 with the...
Getting low.
Yeah, Dunedin girls really defensively making it very hard for her. Meanwhile, out front, Axel Rose, 5-point scoring pass.
Black jammer to the bin.
Oh, what'd she get done for? Cut track. So unfortunately, Dialdo will sit on the Garage Project penalty box on a cut track call. Meanwhile, all the action down into turn 2. Nice bit of defensive work there, recycling the jammer back. She'll have to start all over again. Met hard by the defensive wall of the Wakatane girls there. Nice big hit on the outside there. I think that was Diamond that put that hit on. Nice hit. So both jammers find themselves down into turn 3, turn 4. And that's where the action stopped. And in the blink of an eye, that's an outstanding jam for Dunedin. A 14-point jam and a lead change. Dunedin on 36. With Wakatane on 35. And we are on our first team timeout. That's the Tiki Wine team timeout. Going the way of the Wakatane girls.
You're right. You need something soft to put your elbows on. hand, like sit back and tuck in. Okay, wait, this is like this. I'm really bad at talking if somebody else is really good at talking. So that's why I'm not saying anything.
Just cut in.
Plus, I'm also really bad at this stuff.
So we have McPherce on the GMAC Jammer start line. And Little Yellow Jacket as well. Hand drop whistle goes, Jam is on. And pushing hard out front is McPherce, but outdone.
McPherce's lead.
And it's Lee Jammer going the way of Dunedin. And Little Yellow Jacket, but met very solidly by the Wakatane defence there into turn 2. And McPherce picks up 4 points in that particular pass.
Some great footwork there.
Yeah, just working to the outside line, got onto the toast ups nice and early, and pretty much that was all she wrote. Another lead change.
It's a very close game.
That's what we want. So Furious Fletch on the GMAC Jammer start line, taking on Misty Rains. Both Jammers getting met very solidly by the defence from the opposing teams. Working very hard, trying to work that seam, trying to break that gap right open. And it's Misty Rains picking up lead jammer for the Wakatane girls. And she's now set about trying to pick up some points.
Ooh. Calls it from the ground.
And she picks up 2 points. Next up we have Duncan Disorderly up against McChicken on the GMAC Motors sponsored Jammer start line. Hand drop, whistle blown. Jam is on, both Jammers caught at the back of the pack, working hard, trying to push through, getting a gap.
Oh. Wakatane has been given lead and calls it.
Yep. So unfortunately neither team picking up points there. It's just a
Axel Rose and McFury again.
Yep, McPherce and Axel Rose. Both very quick jammers, both very, very flighty on their toes. They like to work the line and push the opposition laterally across the track. Axel Rose was best at it this time around though. She gets through and picks up lead jammer. Now sets about on her scoring pass, trying to get some points, and she does just that, picking up 4 points.
There's a 1 point difference.
So Little Yellow Jacket up against Dial Doe on the GMAC Jammer start line. As we get this one underway, Dial Doe going really hard, trying to push it out front. Meanwhile, at the back of the pack, hit out nicely to the inside and recycled was Little Yellow Jacket. Again, pushed to the inside part of the track. She's been recycled back into turn 4, finding it hard to get through. Meanwhile, out front, it is Dialdo. A little bit of a twist, a little bit of a turn.
Got Foxy to the Garage Project penalty box.
Yep.
And number 12 of Fakatane.
Passive on damage, I believe that
And a
is.
jammer in the penalty box now.
So in between turns 1 and 2 is where we find all the action, and Little Yellow Jacket just momentarily finding it just a little bit tricky to get through, but she does do so. She's lead, coming around now to hopefully bank some points.
Black Jammer's stashing the star. Oh.
And that's a 5-point Grand Slam haul there for Little Yellow Jacket.
Oop, and a trip. And it's Anaphylaxis off to the Garage Project penalty box as well.
Yeah, unfortunately for Anna, she picked up a low block call, so she'll sit 30 seconds in there.
And now the White Jammer as well. Getting a lot of action in that penalty box.
It is indeed the Garage Project sponsored penalty box for this weekend. As Dialdo gets taken to the outside track, recycled back into turn 4, starts all over again, tries a little bit of a juke on the opposing blocker. But the opposing blocker is well up for it. She's also been pushed out of the track.
And that was a 2-minute jam just then. Oh, nice.
And we are under an official timeout, the Tiara official timeout. We see another lead change, and it looks mighty close. You can't get much closer than this one unless you're evens. But apparently, historically, these two teams love going absolutely hammer and tong at one another and produce close games. So today, hopefully, we can see yet another chapter between these two. With just a little over 8.5 minutes left in the first half. 48-49 is what we see on the scoreboard. A lot of exciting roller derby still to be had. Obviously, the champs is the biggest thing. From a Victorian standpoint, I've got to have a shout out to my home girls. Preparation is key, and they go into the champs looking very, very solid. They've won all their lead-up games. They go in undefeated. They go in fully fit. So that'll be something to look forward to. And depending on who you speak to, some people might say, if Victoria are ever going to win, they're going to win this year and do something that no other team has done, and that's take the Hydra off US shores and bring it to we'll call it Australasia. We'll include New Zealand as well, because we do have 3 New Zealand girls skating as WRDL All-Stars. So it'll be interesting to see just how all that pans out. And talking to, here I go, name dropping. Talking to Bisexual, who's a very dear friend of mine. The draw that they've been given is as good as it's going to get, so fingers crossed.
Well, one of the WRDL players is actually an ex-Rictus skater as well, which is pretty exciting for us.
Yep.
See Anna Paviover
yes.
playing.
Anna's a hell of a nice woman and a heck of a skater.
Oh, she's amazing.
So obviously we wish her and all the WRDL girls the very best of luck. So hopefully not too far away from a resumption.
Wrapping it up.
We're not too far away at all. In fact, it's done and dusted.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So like it's going to be a power jam start, and indeed it is. And that's Duncan Disorderly. Has the whole GMAC jammer start line to herself, and this one's underway. Hit met solidly by the Dunedin defence.
Get Little Yellow Jacket straight back on and straight out.
Yeah, he didn't waste any time, Little Yellow Jacket, to get through and get out and as quick as she possibly can and try and skate down her opposing jammer. And that's where we see all the action now.
And Duncan Disorderly is being sent to the bin now.
She has, unfortunately. She's going to sit in the...
Call.
Yeah, on a cut call. She's going to sit in the Garage Project penalty box. So it will be a power jam start for the ladies in white.
And Whakatane's down a blocker as well, so this will be good.
So it's Axel Rose for Dunedin, who has the GMAC Jammer sponsored start line all to herself. Hand down, whistle blown, jams underway. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, works to the outside line, gets through, and becomes a lead jammer. And power jam for her and her Dunedin team as she pushes hard into the defensive wall there of the Whakatane girls, but just with sheer power, just gets on through and picks up a Grand Slam. 5 points for Dunedin.
Duncan Disorderly back on the track. And out of the pack.
Pack finds themselves just on the break of turn 2, and that's where we find the two jammers now, both coming around and met solidly. But out front, it is the Dunedin girls, and they're holding quite firm. They're not really giving the black jammer anything to work with, and she's having to work really, really hard, pushing through, trying to find anything she can. Meanwhile, Axel Rose has been sent to the Garage Project penalty box on a back block, which means this will go for the full 2 minutes. Meanwhile, while all that was happening, Duncan Disorderly went on through, picked up 4 points.
Straight over. That's another 5 points for Duncan Disorderly.
Grand Slam haul of 5 points there for Duncan Disorderly.
And Dunedin's pulling ahead with the points.
This is turning out to be a nice little jam there for Dunedin.
Natural conclusion.
13-17 jam. Only 5 points in it. So next on the jammer start line we have Misty Rains for Whakatane. And she's up against Furious Fletch from Dunedin.
Whoop.
Hand drop, whistle blown. This one's underway. Both girls working very hard, but out front it is Furious Fletch trying to bustle her way through the pack.
Off to the Garage Project penalty box for a hit.
Well, it's power jam Dunedin. Unfortunately for Misty, she picked up a penalty.
I think that was a blocking with the head penalty.
Blocking with a head penalty?
Yeah.
She'll sit in the penalty box there. That's the Garage Project penalty box, of course.
Yeah,
we'll have 30 seconds to think about. Yep. Meanwhile, the action on track is down here into turn 4, and another 5 point Grand Slam haul for Furious Fletch and the Dunedin Derby. Just looking for a little bit of O there, and it wasn't really sort of coming from Fletch, so she's had to adjust sort of midway through that particular pass, and unfortunately in doing so, she got hit to the outside of the track and recycled it. But still manages to pick up a nice little 9 point haul. Just stretching their legs a little bit, Dunedin sitting on 77, with Whakatane on 63, with just a little over 3.5 minutes to go in this first half. And it's a two mix. It looks like McChicken and McFierce on the GMAC Jammer start line, and some fancy footwork by the number 13 McFierce. And it's a bit of jammer on jammer action here, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. Give a shout out to these two girls. Look at them go.
That was a good race.
McPherce throws her head back with a little bit of a laugh. She knew all the day long she was going to call that off.
Oh, McChicken looks so happy there.
Yeah. A little bit of fun. As we see a little yellow jacket lining up on the Dunedin side of things. GMAC Motor sponsored Jammer start line. Taking on Duncan Disorderly.
Got one standing in the Garage Project penalty box.
It's a little bit scrappy off the line, but it's a little yellow jacket that gets on through, and for Dunedin picks up lead Jammer. Didn't see who that was from Wakatane. That was a nice defensive hit down there into turn one on one of the Dunedin girls. Sent her to the outside of the track. She's okay though, picks herself back up.
Oh, that was a staff house to Helvetica, and they're going to call it.
Looks like we've got Axel Rose and
McPherce.
And looks like we have an official review for Black. So the official reviews this weekend sponsored by Wooden Spoon. Ice cream, apparently. Pick the tourist.
Wellington made ice cream.
Oh, that's right. I read this out earlier on. There you go. Founded in Wellington in 2011. Wooden Spoon Boutique Freezery makes small batch handcrafted ice cream using high quality ingredients, as you would. Our flavours are inspired by memories from our childhood, adventures to new places and local treasures. Check them out. Wooden Spoon.
Very tasty ice cream.
All these official reviews, they're sponsoring it. I think. Yes. God bless them. So the last couple of jams, I've just seen Dunedin just stretch their legs just a little bit with them sitting on 86 and the Wakatane girls on 63. I dare say that will change fairly quickly. Although just a little over a minute and a half remains in this
first half. Looks like we're getting back into it.
Yeah, all the refs have gone back to their positions.
Just finishing off the captains.
Head ref and the captains are having a bit of a chat. He's basically saying, oh yeah, you guys are pretty good. And they're like, yeah, we know. Yeah, and skate off.
No, you guys.
Whakatane requested an official review for a out-of-play forearms penalty on the white jammer. After discussion with the referee crew, the evidence was inconclusive. No call stands. Whakatane lose their official review for the period.
Nice done. And that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. And there we go, hand drops, whistle blown. Gets this one underway. And Axel Rose.
Adam.
First on through. Picks up lead jammer for Dunedin.
Fancy footwork by McPherce gets her out.
Yep. Yeah, not to be outdone. McPherce will want to.
And they're calling.
I was just going to say she'll want to get through and try and get points, but obviously Axel was very much aware of what was going on and had a look across the track and thought, no, I've had enough of this. You're not going to score any points today. Certainly not on that jam. As we see Furious Fletch for Dunedin lining up on the GMAC sponsored Jammer start line, and she's going to take on Duncan and Disorderly. Both teams, full complement of blockers on the track.
And Duncan Disorderly straight out.
Just like that. Just works the outside line so well. She's so crisp, so clean. When she gets that space, she just goes for it. Yeah. And now she's putting the hammer down. She wants to get through, get some points. And she's done just that after being hit to the outside part of the track. That's half time. Beautiful.
10-minute half time.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I trust that everyone got a refreshment, something to eat, stretch their legs. So it's Axel Rose up against McPherce to start this one off in the second half. And Jam Timer gives us the all clear with the drop of the hand and the blow of the whistle. Get this one underway. And it is McPherce busting on through and getting a lead jammer.
Got a cut to the white jammer.
Yeah, cut track to the white jammer. So Axel Rose is going to sit in the Garage Project penalty box. That puts McPherce on a power jam. She can sit about now, bridging that gap between the Wakatane girls and the Dunedin girls. So she's busting on through now with a nice 5-point Grand Slam haul of points. Nice little bit of defensive work by the Dunedin girls out front, just pushing her to the outside of the track, recycled her back, but she's quick to get through. And she got through and picked up another 4 points. And again, I've said it already this afternoon, just like that, within a blink of an eye, there's nothing in it. 11 points separate the two teams. Nice little 14-point jam. As we see Misty Rains taking on Little Yellow Jacket. And just with some grit and push, Little Yellow Jacket gets on through.
Nice little hop there.
Yep. Picks up lead jammer for Dunedin. And Misty Rain hot on her tail. In fact, I think Misty may have even picked up a point. She picked up 3 points, in fact. That was a good effort. So we see Duncan Disorderly up against McChicken on the GMAC sponsored jammer start line. Both jammers at the back of the back pushing hard. Although up the front, it is Duncan Disorderly. She's pushing hard. Not to be outdone though is McChicken, but she has been sent to the penalty box on a forearms call. So McChicken will make her way to Garage Project penalty box. Nice bit of defensive work there by the Dunedin girls, just pushing Duncan Disorderly to the inside track and recycling her back.
And Duncan Disorderly off to the Garage Project penalty box.
And that releases McChicken back onto the track.
Now she gets the power jam.
Yep. But met really hard there by the Wakatane girls. Defensively very, very strong.
Bit of goating in the back there.
Not giving McChicken absolutely anything, but she does bust her way through. Hasn't got lead jammer. That's the initial done. Now she's on a scoring pass, so she can pick up some points this time around. As we see all the action now on turn 4, and she does just that. Picks up 4 points on that pass.
Oh, and we got a forearm again for McChicken, going off to the Garage Project penalty box.
So this jam will run out the last 5 seconds.
So power jam start now for McPherce.
Yep. McPherce has the GMAC sponsored jammer start line all to herself. She'll look up and see that she's got a 4-3 blocker advantage going her way, so her girls do the right thing. Leave it wide open.
Oop.
And she sets about taking on the Dunedin blockers, who are doing a pretty good job at the back straightaway, just holding her up. But she gets through. She gets lead jammer.
And straight through that time, with McChicken back on the track.
McPherce picked up a Grand Slam 5-point haul whilst all that was happening, and the two jammers kind of tangled themselves up coming out of turn 4. McChicken hell-bent on trying to get some points if she can, but McPherce, yeah, well aware of what she was doing and called it off.
And we've got a 5-point game now.
Did someone say these teams are usually close?
Yeah. Apparently the last time these two teams met, there was a 1-point difference.
Wow. As we see Misty Rains on the GMAC jammer start line. And she's going to be taking on Axel Rose by the looks of it.
Oh,
wee.
A bit of a run.
That was a bit close.
And Axel Rose right out for lead jammer. Followed closely by Misty Rains.
Yep.
Oh.
And smart play there by Axel Rose. Once she got turned around on the outside part of the track down the back straightaway, she only had to look and see exactly where it was that Misty was, and it's pretty straightforward. Tactical call-off, I guess, if you want to call it that. Most of the jammers these days, they know exactly where their opposing jammer is most of the time, so...
They're very onto it.
Yep.
As well as their bench as well.
Oh, yeah. As we see Duncan Disorderly taking on a Little Yellow Jacket by the looks of things, as they both peel off the GMAC jammer start line. All the actions mid-centre, or mid-main straight. Bit scrappy into turn 1. Both teams just sort of feeling their way through defensively.
It must be Duncan Disorderly out as lead jammer.
Yep. Nice work by Duncan Disorderly. Got really scrappy coming out of turns 1 and 2, so she really had to sort of find her way through and did it really, really well. Again, finding that outside line, she seems to be most comfortable there, but unfortunately for Ruby Smash, she was picked up on a cut track, so she'll start the next jam in the Garage Project sponsored penalty box. As we see Axel Rose up against McPherce. Both jammers still on the jammer start line. But it's Axel Rose pushing through. She picks up lead jammer Dunedin. As the pack now tries to...
Speeding up.
Yep, tries to get a little bit of speed. And 2 points picked up there by Dunedin. That taking them over the ton. They're actually 105 to Wakatane 97. And we see ourselves again on an official timeout. The Tiaro sponsored official timeout.
Got one going to the bin. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, look like forearms. Yep. And the jam timer let us know that this one's all a go. And we have Furious Fletch for Dunedin jamming up against Ms. T. Rains. And it's Misty Rains busting on through. She picks up lead jammer. It's a pack now. Starting to get a little bit of speed, but Misty wasn't overly happy with that. Had to sort of adjust to get the opening that she wanted to get through and get some points, but she does. Picks up 2 points. As we see a team timeout white. Team timeouts this weekend proudly sponsored by Tiki Wine, who I'm told are pretty damn decent.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I believe that after tonight or today's action, you can go home tonight, check out or find Richter City on Facebook. You see all the action pics from both tracks from today. And apparently we can also be found, Richter City that is, on Instagram at Richter City Roller Derby. And Twitter.
Yeah.
I've got to get all the social media platforms out there.
All of them.
All of them. At Richter City is the Twitter handle on that one. Hashtag RCRD, hashtag QBR 2017. Get tweeting, get Facebooking, get hashtagging. As we get set to resume this one, looks like Duncan Disorderly on the jammer, and we're now under an official review, white.
Official review.
Official reviews this weekend brought to us by, or sponsored by, I should say, Wooden Spoon. And again, apparently they make darn good ice cream. Who'd have known? So hopefully not too far away from a resumption here as all the refs have a bit of a chat about what it was that was presented to them to be reviewed, and hopefully we can get some clarification from the head ref, if he'll be so nice. He was earlier on. Apparently we've got Vendor Village here. And it's located on Court 3, and it's basically got something for everyone, including a range of food, jewellery, clothing, derby gear, team merch, a physio and massage therapist. Hello, I'm there. Genie food, candy floss, elemental eats, Cherbro churros, and the wonderful Ref Rooster with... Oh, I know Ref.
Antojito tacos.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know him.
these guys are all outside with their food trucks.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I should say hello. Well, thank you. I think you guys are doing a really good job as well. I reckon you're doing an awesome job. Thanks. As we hand you over, ladies and gentlemen, to our head ref to explain.
Excellent. Oh, that's nice. Dunedin Derby requested an official review for a cutting the track call on the Whakatane Jammer. After consultation with the officials, the no call stands. Dunedin lose their official review for the period.
I knew that.
All right, so we got Axel Rose and McPherce. Fancy feet getting out there. And Axel Rose is out as lead jammer. Only 2 points picked up in that one, but now Whakatane have hit the century mark. And
They have.
A 4-point game.
And it's a 4-point game.
This is a
Are we
very
going to see a classic? So McChicken now on the jammer start line. She's taken on Duncan Disorderly, and both jammers just a little swarmed into the pack, being joined into the pack now, just trying to find their way through, both working very hard. But out front, it is McChicken. Oh, gets to the outside, works that outside line really, really well. Gets through, picks up lead jammer for Dunedin Derby. Meanwhile, back on turn 2 is where all the action is. And Duncan Disorderly just been caught up.
And straight through the pack. That's 5 points.
It is a Grand Slam 5-point haul going the way for the ladies in white. Duncan Disorderly really having a hard time down the back straightaway. She's really met a solid Dunedin defence. As the pack now sits in between turns 3 and 4, that's where we find all the action. And again,
Dunedin doing a great job of holding back Duncan Disorderly. She
Yep.
just can't get anywhere.
meanwhile, while all that's happening behind her, McChicken's just flying around. She's already on 15 points. This is turning out to be a big jam for Dunedin. And finishes off with 4 points.
It's a 19-point jam in that one.
19-point jam, and
Very good from Dunedin.
just gives a little bit of breathing space between the two. But as we've seen already today,
Doesn't take much to change it.
it won't take much at all. As we
17 minutes to go.
plenty of time as we see McPherce on the jammer start line now. And she's going to take on Axel Rose as both jammers still find themselves on the GMAC Motors sponsored jammer start line. Now both girls are still just trying to get that pack to where they want it. The lateral track movement defensively from both teams is very, very solid, giving the jammers absolutely nothing but.
Straight out.
That's it. Axel Rose does bust through and she picks up lead. Jammer Dunedin. And looks like the pack now wants to get a little bit of speed.
Good assist there.
Yep. So we've got Misty Rains on GMAC Motors jammer start line. She's going to take on Furious Fletch.
Misty's out.
Yeah, super strong is Misty Rains. I've actually skated with her a couple of times, and she's a super strong girl, so doesn't surprise me she got through as easy as what she did on that particular occasion. But she comes into a triangle set from Dunedin, which is proving to be just a little bit of a handful. Yeah, so much so she's had enough and called it off. As we find ourselves now under a team timeout going the way of Wakatane.
Sponsored by Tiki Wine.
Sponsored by Tiki Wine. Good opportunity for both teams just to slow things down, certainly for the Wakatane girls, just to compose and reset. The Dunedin girls have come out pretty solidly early on in this second half, so they'll want to stop that. And if it means taking a team timeout in order to slow down momentum, so be that. As we see the Auckland girls there at the back, obviously they've been outside doing some off-skates training and getting themselves ready for their next game. We're just about set to get this one back underway. We see Axel Rose up against McPherce on the GMAC sponsored Jammer start line.
Do we like this on music?
So it was my fault.
I didn't even notice until we went there to find out.
All right, really close one this time. And call before any points can be done.
Has got McChicken jamming for Dunedin up against Daldo for Wakatane.
McChicken's out.
Rarely does she waste any time getting through the pack. She's just amazing to find the gap, and when she does, it's usually met with bit of a pile up down here into turn 3 and 4.
Out of 8. Only because they're coming in. Be interesting to see.
So Axel Rose taking on McPherce in this next jam.
Oh, and I got a cut call on Axel Rose.
Unfortunately, yeah, for Axel Rose, she has picked up a cut track penalty, and she'll make her way to the Garage Project penalty box. Meanwhile, for McPherce, it's all about her now. It's her track. She's got a power jam, so she can set about trying to bring this 25-point deficit down.
There's a 5-point pass because the other jam is in the bin.
So we're now down to 20. Seen this done before plenty of times already this afternoon.
Oh, great hop right there.
And land, yes.
And she gets past.
And picks up another Grand Slam 5-point haul. McPherson in that particular pass. So
got a couple of people going to the Garage Project penalty box now.
And nice little jam there by McPherson. 13-point jam, 118, 113 in favour of Dunedin. As we see Misty Rains setting herself on the GMAC Jammer start line, and she's going to be taking on Furious Fletch. And it looks like we've got 3-on-3 in terms of blockers available. And it's Furious Fletch out front. She gets her lead jammer Dunedin.
Coming up right behind her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no points picked up by either team in that jam, so the scores stay as they were. As we see Duncan Disorderly up against McChicken on the GMAC Motors jammer start line. Jammer timer throws a hand down, blows a whistle. This one's a go. And again, both girls just trying to work the opposing jammers laterally. And McChicken does it the best and gets through, gets out on the lead jammer for Dunedin. And she picks up 3 points. Just a little over 9 and a bit left in this game. 118 for the Whakatane girls up against 133 from Dunedin. Certainly not out of it. A decent power jam and it's game on. As we see Axel Rose up against McPherson. It's Axel Rose again, just really, really clean and really quick on that outside. She gets anywhere near that.
Great apex jump.
An amazing apex jump done there by McPherson.
And straight through the pack for Axel Rose.
Yep. Axel is so quick at getting into the out. When she gets on the outside and she gets the smallest gap, she's gone. And of course, not to be outdone there, obviously, McPherson is a very similar jammer. Just very, very quick on her toes. You give her a little bit of room, she's gone as well. So, 2 exciting jammers. Love to watch them as we see Misty Rains. And she's going to take on Furious Fletch. As both jammers work real hard to get through. Nice bit of defensive work on Furious Fletch. Knocked to the outside of the track, recycled back into turn 1.
Taken all the way back to the jam.
Yeah, Misty Rains was knocked to the inside track. She was recycled as well. But busting on through, picking up lead jammer is Furious Fletch from Dunedin.
Very good point protection in this game.
Yeah.
They're just hitting and quitting whenever possible.
Yep.
McPherson and Axel Rose again.
So again, Axel Rose and McPherce. Again, back on track, taking each other on. Both of them very flighty, very quick on their feet.
Bit of Jammer D as well.
Yep. But out front, it is McPherce. Neither Jammer's got through yet, so we still haven't got the lead jammer identified. As McPherce was hit to the inside part of the track, she was recycled. Met solidly again by the Dunedin defence, but it is
McPherce out for lead
McPherce
jammer.
out through the lead.
Does great awareness on the cut.
Yep. Speaking of awareness there, Axel Rose, she knew she went outside the track, and had she re-entered, she would have been done for a cut track, but took herself off and recycled in behind. Smart play there by her. And meanwhile, out front, it is McPherce picking up 5 points. She knew exactly where Axel was. So again, we see the Whakatane girls slowly just pegging that score back. 5 points here, 10 points there. All of a sudden, we've got a game on our hands. Not that we haven't. As we see McChicken. And she's going to take on Duncan Disorderly. Hammer down, this one's a go. McChicken really working really hard. She gets knocked to the outside of the track though. She's going to get taken back almost deep into turn 4, but gets back on the track. Now she's got a little bit of momentum, might be able to help her out. Working the seams is McChicken, still trying to find her way through. Meanwhile, out front, same can be said for Duncan Disorderly. Both teams defensively working extremely hard to keep these jammers at bay, but unfortunately, blocking with the head sees McChicken. She's going to sit for 30 seconds in the Garage Project penalty box. But still, Duncan Disorderly still has to get through this very tough defensive setup by Dunedin Derby. And they're not making it easy for her at all as she gets hit to the outside. And unfortunately, she's been done for a cut track. As we see McChicken released from the penalty box, she makes her way back on track. She's not lead jammer, however, so this one will run right out. As the initial pass is done, now on a scoring pass is McChicken, works to the outside part of the track, only to be met solidly by the Whakatane defence, but more than up for it is McChicken. She gets her way through and picks up a 5-point Grand Slam haul of points. And another 5-point haul there from McChicken. What a great jam there by McChicken. And we are now on a team timeout for Black. I was just going to say about McChicken, she's actually sat for 30 seconds in the penalty box, but still come out on track and keep your opposing jammer to 0 points and put on 10 points yourself is what wins your games of roller derby more often than not. So all credit to her. So that's the conclusion of that team timeout, all done and dusted, as we see Misty Rains on the GMAC Jammer start line. She's going to take on Axel Rose. And we have a full complement of blockers from both teams on the track. Hammer down, this one's go. Both jammers working laterally, trying really hard, pushing on through though, and getting lead jammer is Axel Rose from Dunedin. And not to be outdone and hot on her heels is Misty Rains. She'll skate her down. Pat getting a little bit of speed coming into the main straight away. A little bit more action now, a little bit more slowed up Pack into turns 1 and 2. But Misty Rains gets through, picks up 4 points. Nice little jam there by Misty Rains, picking up 5 points. Moves Wakatane to 128 versus Dunedin at 153 with just over, or just on 2 minutes remaining in this game. Could see a massive power jump. We could get that 1 point differential at the end, but
still time.
There is still time, but I think the Dunedin girls have got enough in the bank. And Lee Jammer going the way of McChicken. With McPherson still stuck in the pack. She now does get through. With just over a minute to go, we see Dunedin on 157 with Wakatane on 128. Pretty much tactical move, that one, as we see ourselves into an official review black, that is, my apologies, official review black.
And that is sponsored by Wooden Spoon.
And they do
ice cream.
And apparently it's really good ice cream.
Yeah, it's really good.
Awesome.
Richter City recently did a photo shoot with them, so.
Oh, cool.
Got to try it then.
Got to try all the flavours.
Yeah, and it'll be Richter City and. Only because they're hanging out here.
So there's not much left in this game to go. About 50 odd seconds, give or take. Make sure you hang around, ladies and gentlemen, because up next we've got Auckland versus Richter.
Starting at 3:30, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Yep. So that promises to be an absolute... I'm really looking forward to seeing Auckland play. I've never seen them play, so I'm really super looking forward to watching them and see how they go about it. I've seen Richter play a couple of times now, and they're pretty handy. As we hand over now to our head ref.
Whakatane requested an official review for a forearms penalty on the white jammer. After discussion with the officials, the no call stands. Whakatane lose their official review for the period. Thank you.
Easy.
Oh, that's a nice little win for Whakatane. Looks like we've got Axel Rose and McPherson on the
Bit of a
GMAC
standstill.
sponsored jammer start line. No, either jammer, I should say, is not hell bent on wanting to get the ball rolling, as it were. The defensive lines really came back on both of them, gave them no room to work. It was a case of who's going to blink first,
Axel Rose out.
and Axel Rose gets on through to pick up lead jammer.
And we have a cut call from McPherson.
Now, unfortunately, yes, McPherson is going to make her way to the penalty box.
So it's a power jam for Dunedin, which is probably what they need to sit it.
Axel Rose has seen enough. She calls that one off.
And that is the end.
Well, that is the end of that one.